I've just written this on one of the Stop ULEZ groups, but I don't really know how I can put it any simpler, but I don't know how I can get people to believe me. No one listens. Well, people, I don't know, maybe everyone's just fed up and that is why they're just doing all this protesting and so forth, but I just feel like everyone's doing something, like Extinction Rebellion, Insulate Britain, all these council watchers, Colchester Council Watch. People are doing things, but I kind of feel like everyone's running around like headless chickens, kind of not really knowing what exactly to do or just doing whatever they can. But I think what everyone needs to understand is really that there's actually three these three examples, right, are basically exactly the same. They're all the same examples. There's three examples and it's the same thing. And those three examples are now basically at the top, at the highest kind of level that you can go to in this country. And the problems with all three of them are identical. And then all of the other problems that we have in all the local councils are exactly the same as those three problems, but just a smaller version. So I've put, we the people can get these planning orders annulled by appeal to the House of Commons and by signatures. They are undermining it and blackmailing us to vote for their party candidates, and only then will it be done or repealed. Like, if you vote for this councillor, we'll do this, or if you vote for that party, we'll do that. But we don't need to. We've already kind of done what is required to get it done, but they're not doing it. And that's where the blackmail is. They're like saying, oh, if you vote for this party, we're going to do this. And if you vote for that party, we're going to do that. But we actually don't have to. People have already done what is necessary for them to do it. And that's what we elected them to do, what we ask them to do, but they're not doing it. They say, oh, we can only do this or that if you vote for this party or that party or this person. Like currently with this Sue Hall for the mayor. Only Sue Hall can press the button to turn the ULEZ cameras off. But we've done what is required to get it sorted out through the process that we elected them to do. But they're not doing it. And that is what's just happened with Mark Drakeford now. I'm doing all I can to try solve this legally through Judicial Conduct Investigations Office complaints. But it matters for all councils and people because like Wales with a 20 mile an hour and the Stonehenge Tunnel, for example, there's two of the three big ones where you're getting scammed badly by the MPs. Well, by the government. They've got 200,000 people signed, for example, to Stonehenge Tunnel to stop it in Wiltshire, which equals a referendum. Yet, on top of those signatures and for a yes or no vote, so the 200,000 signatures is what buys you the referendum. You buy it. How do you get the local referendum? Well, you buy it, you pay for it, not with money. You don't buy it with money. You don't pay for it with money. You get the referendum with signatures. It's like in the Crystal Maze, like in O'Brien's Crystal Maze, in the Crystal Dome. You get the tickets, the silver tickets and the gold tickets, right? You got to collect them all when they're blowing around. They've got 200,000 signatures, right? It's well over the 25 or 30,000 that you need for a referendum in Wiltshire, right? And then it gets decided on a simple yes or no vote. Now, that is like in Magna Carta, that is the judgment of the peers. It's decided on the judgment of the peers whether or not they will be deprived of their things and their effects or not, going by the judgment of the peers, right? It's a simple yes-no vote. You don't need a legal argument. You don't need to count how many squirrels are going to die. You don't need to count how many frogs are going to be poisoned in the water. You don't need to have evidence of all these things. I'm not saying that is anything wrong with that, like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. proves in his environmental cases, very, very good, strong, intelligent cases that are defeating these companies. But they don't have a jury in a civil court anymore, do they? And that's the difference. We do in political matters and in certain criminal cases when they have a jury, right? So instead of the yes-no vote, which, by the way, we've already purchased the right to have it through the 200,000 signatures for Stonehenge, right? We've got the right to that. They did all the work. They got all the signatures, all the silver and the golden tickets, like you've got to get on the Crystal Maze at the end, right? They got that. You don't buy it with money. You don't need money. We've already been paying our taxes, and it's £800 maximum spend per ward, which we've paid for local referendums anyway, right? We've paid for it. We've bought it. And we got the signatures for Stonehenge Tunnel, for example, and the 20 mile an hour speed limit in Wales, all of the whole of Wales, 400,000 signatures, which is 4 times more than what you need. It's really like get on the Crystal Maze, picking up every single golden ticket, you know. But instead, because the Secretary of State for Transport and Mark Drakeford are being criminal, the prescribed procedure in the Local Government Act and in the Government Acts and in the Local Referendums Petitions Acts, we've done what is prescribed, right? And what they're doing is it's terrorism. They're actually terrorists now. They've actually assumed positions in government, claiming to be elected to represent the people, and they're criminally hijacking it. The Secretary of State for Transport, the Chancellor, the Prime Minister, and then they're blackmailing us with these matters, and they're saying, oh, Sue Hall says she's going to do this. Sue Hall says she's going to turn ULEZ off. You know, if you vote for her in the mayoral election, then she will do it. She'll have the power. But just a minute, we already voted for Mark Drakeford to be our representative. He wanted the job. And when we hand in the golden tickets, these signatures, then he calls for the referendum. That's the job, right? And then when it's a matter that we're not that bothered about and no one collects the golden tickets, then he can revert back to default setting of Labour Party policy when no one's that bothered, as you were, back to your policy, your default setting. This is the problem, right? If you can understand this. So instead, what these terrorists are actually doing in government is they're saying they're like misbehaving schoolboys, or if they were working in a corporate company and they did this, they would be sacked. Many of them stand down. We don't want them to stand down. There's many backbench MPs standing down, people from the council standing down. What you want them to do is do the job. But because what you will actually realise is that these entities, these parties who are strategically planning as entire future, these executives, these highwaysmen, these Department of Transport people who are behind the scenes, notice that all these MPs are dropping down and then other ones are replacing them. Why? Because they won't push the button. They won't do the thing. Well, why won't they do the thing when we have the golden tickets in? I mean, it's even meant to be decided by the vote. Yes, no vote. They won't even let us have the yes, no vote. They won't do it because these big entities, these big companies, Care, Balfour Beatty and so forth, they are telling the MP, they've got the power over the MPs. They've got the control over the ministers and over the councillors. So therefore, they're not doing the job. And this is when we have got a problem. And what's happening now is that even though Stonehenge Alliance, group has collected all the golden tickets, which didn't come easily, didn't come cheaply, right? So they can have the yes/no vote under Magna Carta. Instead, what they've done is then, because of this stubborn, criminal, absolute misbehaviour of these Boris Johnson, David Cameron, Keir Starmer, corrupt, pure evil ministers, judges, councillors, like it states in Magna Carta, they're subverting the rights and liberties of the realm by abuse of process, just blatant refusal to obey directions and commands of the public when they're charged with the golden tickets to act through power of directions. They're blatantly refusing, like the Chancellor, who's holding his red box up with his goofy smile on his face, right? What they're doing instead, besides blackmailing us, if they vote for this person, then we'll think about it, or then we'll push a button if you vote for this person. No, we've got the tickets now, sir. Can I have it now? Right? It's like buying alcohol. Here's my ID card. Can I have, give me the keg of beer, like on Teen Wolf, give me a keg of beer. Can we have the election? Can we have the referendum now? And then they're like, no. If you bring an adult in, if you bring Sue Hall in, and vote her in for mayor, then she will buy you the alcohol, get an adult to buy you it. Well, no, I've got the ID card, give me a keg of beer, I got the golden tickets, the 200,000 golden tickets, well, more than what you need, because you only needed, 25,000 tickets or whatever. This is it. And instead, what they're doing is they're forcing us to go to a lawyer, right, and obviously pay money. Then we're having, even though we've got all the golden tickets, they're making us raise £60,000, which, by the way, in Shropshire is more than it costs to have a referendum of all Shropshire. And they're actually getting even more money out of us, even when you've used all the money up, on the petitions and promoting it and actually going out and going around everywhere. They're actually then making you pay money to a lawyer who will, most likely a conservative lawyer, who will profit from it, and then he'll put a very complicated technical argument through with lots of complicated legal points on, international law, Stonehenge, International Heritage Site, ecology of the land, archaeology reports and history and all this, to try and get a judge to decide it based on points of law, based on legal points and legal point of law, like Robert F. Kennedy Jr. does in his environmental cases, suing these big companies, right? But it's not a civil case. It actually started with a political case that can be decided on a yes/no vote, right? So someone's making £60,000 out of it when we've already paid his taxes that can afford a cheaper than that referendum. And we're being completely and totally scammed. And then a judge gets to decide it if you can win the argument. That is a complete and utter total corrupt perversion of democracy. Further than that, it makes you wonder what happened to the jury in the civil courts, in the civil cases. When all these big corporate entities started, sniffing around with their imperial chemical industries, in the 1940s and 50s, and then all this, the dark forces of Sauron started mounting, and then, we'll buy Rowntrees, and we'll buy Cadbury's, and we'll buy McDonald's, and the King's got a McDonald's as well. We'll buy up all these companies, and we'll gradually take over. Now it's company policy, consent, submit, accept, consent, submit, accept. But that's not the law. Well, it doesn't matter what the law is, because we've got you to agree to our policies. Forget the law, you consented to the will of Sauron. Consent, submit, accept, right? oh, we can't have the public, we can't have the factory workers deciding, turning up as a jury and deciding civil cases between, McDonald's and Burger King and Rowntree's and Cadbury, who's going to get all the money, who's going to walk away with the shares, when Alan Sugar divorces with his wife, and then his wife's going to take away half the money. Then we won't have a poxy jury of George Galloway's working class people in the jury deciding, who gets Alan Sugar's fortune. No. They won't think that this is ridiculous, and he shouldn't get any of the money because he was cheating with a Baroness M on a yacht or something like that, and then the public think this is an outrage and ridiculous, and then they don't think that any of them should have the money. No, we can't have that. No, barons and lords can only be judged by their equals in Magna Carta, even though that's been repealed. No. Instead, no. It's got to be Robert F. Kennedy has got to, I'm not knocking him at all. He's a very, very intelligent and proficient lawyer. We can't have the jury deciding. No. He's got to get a judge to decide, on YouTube rights, political rights. Oh, no, we can't have the jury deciding on whether YouTube has got political rights or not for the people, we the people, because then the people in the jury might decide that we have got political rights on YouTube. This is the thing. We're being scammed. And, Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has made some amazing legal actions standing up to these big corporate entities, but they're still suing governments and prosecuting governments for their projected profits, while we can't sue them, apparently, for our projected health in the future, our, predicted health. Even though a bookie could bet on, if we continue the way that we're going, the health is going to go through the bottom of the floor, with what they've been doing to microbiome and vitamin D levels and so forth. And then you've got Rand Paul, who's obsessed with Fauci, but he doesn't seem to be that obsessed about the fact that they're all getting immunity from being prosecuted, and the WHO as well, and all these pharmaceutical companies, when we didn't even need those pharmaceutical companies. We could have had vitamin D for, the pandemic. So I can't see how any of these governments can pull this absolute tosh thing out that you can't sue these companies when they're even suing the government for the potential profits. How can you have a situation where a privately owned company, which is under government license, cannot be prosecuted for strategically planning the health of the population in the future down the tube detrimentally, when they can prosecute the government for their just because they can't make quite as much money? It's ridiculous, and this is really why we need Robert F. Kennedy Jr. To be the president, really, because Rand Paul can't even get Fauci to give him the evidence when he wants it from him. Rand Paul's saying that they're not even telling him things that he wants to know and disclosing stuff. And he's meant to be a senator in the United States, And then we've got Kennedy 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, Ted Cruz missile, and, God knows who else in there, Bernie Sanders, blah, 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 Senator A, B, C, D, E, F, G. You would think that someone knows what they're doing with all this, and we are getting fleeced. We're getting all these companies are tweaking the dials. They're squeezing all the money out of us, like when you're buying stuff on eBay, in shipping costs. They're squeezing money out of us when you go to the gas station to buy a packet of crisps and a sandwich and a drink. It's costing 10 quid. When it should be like, £2 from Lidl. They're squeezing all the money out of us, and then they're all owned by BlackRock Vanguard. And then when we've come to do something politically, I'll get some flyers printed, I'll start a charity or my own political group. I could do that with my money. And then, by the way, I won't get taxed on that money. Never mind giving the money to Terry Wogan at the end of the tax year. It's the BBC Radio 2. Have dinner with Terry Wogan. We get all the companies ringing in. I'll bet, I'll throw some money into, whatever it is, Mr. Blobby or whatever it is, or Red Nose Day or whatever. Oh, it's the end of the tax year. Let's have a little bit of a joke around with the corporate profits. We've got 50 grand here. We'll be taxed on that unless we chuck it at Mr. Blobby, and then I can have a meal with Terry Wogan, although if he was still here. But yeah, us, the people, I've got, I didn't get fleeced by, Rishi Sunak tweaking the economy. I've got £10,000 a year. I could throw that into my own little political campaign or my own charity. Won't get taxed on that. Might be able to swing the votes. Ooh, no, don't want any money left over. You might be able to stop Stonehenge. You might be able to save the Darwin Oak. You might be able to stop Colchester Council. You might be able to, stop Stonehenge Tunnel getting raped through the bottom of the coal pit. So this is the problem. And if now they're getting police protection, police backup, because of all the protests kicking off, where is the police enforcement on the golden tickets? That's what I want to know. The thing is, you've got Tice sending, Farage and whoever to turn up at number 10 to hand in, the golden tickets when it's, cut the fuel tax. And there's a policeman on the doorstep. And then, someone's handing Sue Hall, the 200,000 golden tickets for Stop ULEZ. And then she can, if you vote for her, then those golden tickets will actually be able to do something. Well, don't they do something when you hand them in to Rishi Sunak at number 10, seeing though his party want to stop ULEZ? Well, if I hand the golden tickets to Rishi Sunak, then why isn't he magically turning Stop ULEZ off, seeing though we're making an appeal to the House of Commons? Why does it have to be if... there's a big blackmail now. If you vote for Sue Hall, those golden tickets are valid. Even though Sue Hall and Rishi Sunak are the same political party. So why isn't Rishi Sunak turning Stop ULEZ off through appeals to the House of Commons? Why isn't Sue Hall turning them off? Well, if you vote for her, she will. But that she's turning them off because we voted for her in the election with those golden tickets. What happened to the 200,000 golden tickets that we collected to hand in to Rishi Sunak? Wasn't Sue Hall... Just a minute. Sue Hall's got a swag bag, right, of Tim Rowling's golden tickets in one swag bag, and then in the other swag bag, she's going to collect her mayoral votes, and then she'll stop ULEZ. But what happened to the 200,000 golden ticket swag bag that, is supposed to be handed to Rishi Sunak? Well, Sue will give it to Rishi if you vote for her with another 200,000 swag bag of mayoral candidate golden tickets. If that ain't going to, impress you in the Crystal Dome, it's the Crystal Dome. Verbs should be all over this. Verbs should like this, in fact, I actually want to see, Verbs don't even believe in TV or watch TV anymore, but I'd like to see Verbs on the Crystal Dome. That would be something, demolishing the future zone with a demolishing ball or something. That would be a good game, if Verbs could get on, the Crystal Maze and instead of Tudor Pole or whatever, you get demolishing, these ULEZ cameras. That would be quite entertaining. If Verbs was on there, knocking down the council building in one of the games on the Crystal Dome, or something, out of foam bricks or whatever it is. That would be something. But we're actually getting scammed. You need to believe this. It's there. It is Mark Drakeford. Never mind if you vote for Sue Hall, then she will, with those golden tickets. Yeah, but we've already got the golden tickets. And we handed them to the Prime Minister of the party who says that they're opposed to ULEZ, And it's an annulment of Khan's order because we're appealing to the Commons. So, what actually is happening on here, here. What's happening is, for some reason, Drakeford is standing down and he will not do, well, it's a job that he wanted to do, but he's only going to, he won't, for some political party reasons and nationalistic reasons, he doesn't want people to have a yes-no vote on something that they've just got a right to, and he is simply a servant of the people. And he won't do it. I don't know if Starmer is going to remove him to do it. Why? What is the power? Why does he refuse? I don't think he can refuse to act. I don't think Drakeford can refuse to act because it's a prescribed procedure. And what I want to know is, why are the police now mounting like some army of Sauron to protect them like some sort of Roman army? When the police, why are we not handing the golden ticket swag bag to the police chief of Wales or to the Met Police chief, Mark Rowley? And then why is Mark Rowley not going to the Prime Minister and saying, here, Prime Minister, or here, First Minister of Wales, here is the swag bag that the citizens have collected. Now, can you turn my cameras? Oh, sorry, the cameras off, sorry. Oh, no, there's cameras that they're going to give to me after they're not being used for ULEZ that I actually want. Oh, just a minute. Swag bag of gold tickets. ULEZ cameras that are going to be given to my Met Police force, that I can use for surveillance, swag bag, surveillance cameras, just a minute, actually I ditched this swag bag of golden tickets, I want to keep my surveillance cameras. In fact, they're going to give them to me. Actually, no, I'll defend the ministers and we'll unlawfully, criminally, illegally hold the country under a terrorist clause of defiance of the yes-no vote. So effectively, the police chief is refusing to comply with a vote. He won't give the people a yes-no vote, which in my opinion, that is terrorism. He's not serving the people. He's not protecting and defending the people. What he's doing is he is securing a homeland. Instead of protecting the country from foreign forces, what he's actually doing is he's refusing to enforce democracy on behalf of the people, and what he's doing is policing a political party and a elite refusal to act, to do what they're told, and I'm not sure why. Well, because he is serving them. He wants what they've got, and they've got him what he wants, which is more police, more cameras, more surveillance. And why is that? And why are all these people doing that? Because they won't give us a yes-no vote on multiple things that we're entitled to a yes-no vote on. Because they want it to be controlled by all these Balfour Beat Me, secret police departments and forces that work with Balfour Beat Me and Care. We've got this, well, that's the industrial military complex, isn't it? So, as far as I'm concerned, what the police chief needs to do, and we've got onto the subject of police now, because really that what we want is enforcement. When it's a criminal matter and a court makes any order or decision, there's enforcement, and they get the police to do that. In civil courts, when it's not a criminal matter, they get bailiffs. Vobes knows all about bailiffs. He's been at the end of bailiffs. It's called enforcement. And even the police turn up on the scene when there's some bailiffs to make sure there's no